What's happening? Welcome to the channel. Here's the deal. If you're here, you're probably looking for information on the 50mm f2 by TTArtisans. And so I figure, I don't want to waste any of your time. Let's get right into the video. This video is not a sponsored video. I bought this lens. It's in my kit. I wanted it and I figured, why not buy it? That being said, I do have a Sigma 85 1.4. And I do own also the 24-70 f2.8. Not a cheap lens, right? So for me, this budget lens, it's less about the price, more about the size. I'm a fan of the size of this lens, and I think the biggest thing is that not only is the lens small, but what it does for the entire system, my S1H, is it literally makes the S1H just the size of a little brick. And not having this big piece of lens hanging off the front of the camera basically takes the size of the camera and cuts it in half. And really it feels like more than half, because it literally feels like there's no lens on the front of the camera. This lens is that small. It's literally like maybe 3.5 Oreos, something like that. It's super small. That being said, I've got a few notes here on the desk. I'm gonna be referring to the notes as I go through the review, so don't judge me. I don't really script my videos, but I do like to keep some notes just so I can kind of stay on track. So build quality, all metal, manual focus lens. The aperture is a clicked aperture, not a declicked aperture. But I don't change aperture in the middle of a shot. It just doesn't happen. I don't shoot that way. So having a clicked aperture doesn't really bother me. No contacts in the back of the lens, so you get no lens info in terms of like f-stop or focal length that you might get on something like this. But that again doesn't concern me either. I frame up my shot and I don't really need to know what the aperture was when I'm editing. It just doesn't, it's not something that I need. And if I have it, it's nice, but it doesn't bother me that I don't have it. Size, of course, tiny. But what you might not notice until you actually get your hands on it is that this lens has a really, really thin lens cap. It's so thin, maybe like 1/8 of an inch, as opposed to something like this, which is 1/4 of an inch, right? That's like your normal lens cap. Everything about this lens is designed to be low profile, and it's a huge, huge benefit. It's so small. It literally, when I mount it on my S1H, the lens actually doesn't stick out anywhere past the grip of the camera. It literally just the camera feels like it doesn't have a lens on with this lens on. So I like to think that it takes my S1H. Blackmagic has a pocket cinema camera, and I feel like my S1H is like a backpack cinema camera, or even less than a backpack. I have this little tiny bag that I kind of carry my stuff around in often, and literally the S1H will go in all the way down to the bottom of the bag, and it literally just sits at the very bottom. It's so small, and it really makes the S1H feel like a smaller system. I had an A7 III and a pocket cinema camera, and a T2i back in the day, a GH4, and with this lens on it, the camera is super small. My ISO, oh man, the clouds just changed and my ISO is going nuclear. Let's drop that down a little bit. Much better. Anyways, so tiny little lens. I'm a huge fan of it. I would buy it again. This footage I'm going to show you is footage from the first, I literally picked it up from the Amazon delivery, popped it on the camera, and shot these clips. So let's go to the clips and then we'll come back and we'll have some closing arguments, right? So let's go.
Step into the city while I'm making my come to the bed. And make it wild, wild, make it wild, 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 make it wild, 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 make it wild. Break it wild, 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 make it wild. Break it wild, 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 make it wild. Break it wild, make it wild, 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 make it wild.
Welcome back. So again, super cheap lens, super budget, image quality is great, low light is great, build quality is great, size is incredible. It's a 50mm, so it's one of the most common focal lengths that people kind of start using. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people start with a 50, then they get away from 50 and then come back to 50, right? Because of the 50mm focal length, its versatility, the fast aperture, image quality, they're easy to design apparently. Anyways, I'm talking really fast because I'm just like super excited about this lens. I would say this, if you're interested in this lens and it's something that sounds like it might fit your workflow and your application and your budget, just buy it. There's not like literally 79 bucks for this lens I think I paid. Super cheap, the image quality is great. I'm a huge fan of the lens. If you're looking for a tiny lens with vintage vibes that makes your camera super portable, I don't know that you need to look anywhere other than this lens. I'm a huge fan and it's nice to have in my kit. I will say this is the perfect lens for like a 2-lens kit. My kit lens here and then the 50mm f2, great little combination because I have low light, got ultra wide and so forth. Yeah, it really makes for a versatile kit. But yeah, this lens alone will do some really cool stuff for you. Like and subscribe if you found the video useful, and I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I don't want to ramble on. Much love. Go make something cool today. I'm out.